Oh, she is to be a beautiful piece of equipment right there. Happy Fly Friday, everybody. You caught me in the middle of just daydreaming about the future once again. I hope you are too. Welcome again to another episode of Fly Friday 15 with the New Age Nerd, the Urban Astronaut, Sharon Cutter Smooth EP Digital, with Nanko Arrow on the Nanko Tech channel. Uh, so on this Friday, we're going to jump right into it, talk about a few things. Always urban air vehicles, aka flying cars, big industry coming out now. And we're developing our own. You saw a little clip at the beginning, and we're serious. I don't know how else to tell you guys besides that we're really building an urban air vehicle. And every week I'm going to come back to you and have a discussion, a subject matter expert discussion about building these types of vehicles. And I'm not sure if you've noticed last week and the year before, or not year, but the week before, flying cars coming out, right? And whether you would like them or not, whether those would be good for the industry or not. For those of us who are dreamers of flying, will those vehicles coming out, those crazy ideas and concepts, will they suffice? Will they satisfy our needs? I really want to know, and I want to know what you think. So if you're a pilot or somebody, definitely you could be involved with this channel to discuss these very topics about how this industry will be built out. And hopefully we could come up with something good in the end. But today, I'm going to jump on a topic that seems to always come up when I introduce myself and talk about, hey, we're making flying cars. And it's like, hey, well, what about certifications, regulations, the politics, governments within flying cars? Ooh, we a hot topic because a lot of people feel that part will be the largest obstacle in terms of success when it comes to developing or producing or mass producing an urban air vehicle, flying car, whichever you want to call it. I'm going to stick to urban air vehicle. But certifying that type of vehicle when it hasn't been done before. And that's where a lot of people are wondering. And you may come across some articles like I have if you follow eVTOL News and other news outlets for hovercraft, rotorcraft, multi-rotorcraft. Just always wondering, how will they be certified? Excuse me. How will they be tested? And who certifies them? For the U.S., it's FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, I believe is their name, of course. They run the whole airspace. So when it comes to certifying these vehicles of who, they will be number one. So we start there, right? And if you are developing your own urban air vehicle, I would suggest you start there as well. Last year with Agility Prime, they launched a little thing along with Agility Prime, opening up the FAA certification process to be tailored to these new aircraft coming out. So as I think about ours, and when it comes to approaching them, you may have yours as well. Well, they already know that these are new vehicles coming out. They already know it's going to take a brand new process, new ways of, I guess, testing, certifying, and validating these marvels, right? But they still got to check the engineering, all of the normal development, the production, paperwork that goes into it. Now, that's what I wanted to dive into because from an engineering perspective, getting it airworthy is one thing, right? A lot of us could, what's the name? A MacGyver. I've always wanted to be a MacGyver. I'm a real MacGyver. I could give me something. If there's a problem, I will find something to make it work. We are some resourceful mofos. But when it comes to FAA and certifications, that doesn't play. So not only does your paperwork, how you did it, what did you do, need to be documented to the T, so that they can read and follow back, especially when it comes to auditing, right? As well as a much unknown, your vendors. So that's something to think about, right? Because you're developing your vehicle, you have trust in your engineering, but you will work with other people. I'm going to need motors. We're going to need materials. Your vehicle will have a lot of things outside of your organization. And they too need to be up to snuff in terms of quality, documentation, and procedures so that you can satisfy the certification process for the FAA. And that's where a lot of startups or inventors, aircraft developers kind of fail. They invent this nice thing and they build it and put it together. And then they take that end product and give it to the FAA for like, hey, let's certify this. The FAA says no, because you're using parts that they're not certified and those won't work. They don't have their documentation together. You don't have all of your documentation together. Where are your procedures on this? For example, training manuals, your operation manuals needs to be fully spelled out to where a not necessarily novice, but a normal person who is to operate it can understand and operate it, especially in an emergency situation. So certification isn't necessarily about the engineering or building. We could do that. But I assure you, the paperwork, the documentation that comes along with it, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Because it helps an organization maintain safety. Certain guidelines need to be held in order to maintain reliability in your aircraft, in your product, in your service, your system, within your brand, right? So I love and I actually welcome a nice, robust, and trusting certification process. So, we got some. Terrafugia's transition was been given a special light sport aircraft certificate by FAA in February this year, but needs to finish the car to make it street legal. Right, so that's Terrafugia. Came up about last year, a few years ago, but they're just now going through the certification process. And again, another one, all the way until the end. Now the certain things like, hey, you got to go back and change something and then recertify that new vehicle. So, moral of the story: don't wait until you're finished developing the vehicle to certify it. Start certifying it right from the beginning, and work hand in hand with the FAA certification process and the administrators, and you'll be in good hands, like us. So yes, we're already in that process, starting right from the beginning. So best believe, come 2025, certification will be handled and dealt with on a professional and top tier elite position. So look forward to that. Next topic. Now that we're kind of halfway through, I want to dive into the ecosystem, right? And this ecosystem that will support these urban air vehicles. I was just talking about the need for vendors and partners just to get you through, or for building it, right? And they too need to be up to snuff for the certification process. So therefore, it outlines the absolute need for an ecosystem of businesses, products, whether they're grandfathered or new startups, a full, robust ecosystem to support these aircraft. And I'm not saying that we're going to be the only aircraft out there. No. There's going to be a lot. And there's a lot of the market to eat. So it's going to take a very, very innovative, savvy, and persistent organization over a long period of time in order to gain total market share. So yeah, we're all for it. But, that's a good 20 years, 30 years down the road. But first 10 or these next 5, we are going to focus on small time partnering, right? These small organizations coming out, and there's going to be a lot of them, but they're going to need each other. And that ecosystem is important, especially when it comes to materials. For example, I've recently partnered with, and we'll come out with a PR, little public, but somebody within the ecosystem to help with landing. So our landing stations, who's going to help? Who's going to do that? So if you're developing an air vehicle, you have to put into the process of where are you going to land? Now, because you're developing an air vehicle, does that mean you have to develop the landing pad and the vertiports too? No, I wouldn't advise that. Get partners. This is where the ecosystem fits together, right? The vehicles are going to need the airports. We're going to need the charging stations and the refueling stations and a whole lot of other things within and to support that vehicle. Even though the vehicle is the end goal, everybody's going to use the vehicle, right? But the vehicles needs motors, um, electrical computers, the high-speed computers that's going to need on here, ecosystem. So of course we're partnering. The goal is to partner with Microsoft. We'll see, but it's you can see a new robust ecosystem of a brand new industry coming about, especially if you are following it. So if you're looking for a new industry to dive into, this is definitely one of them that is growing exponentially, already proven exponentially. So the ecosystem needs to grow as much, right? So where do we see ourselves in this ecosystem? We're the influencers. The vehicle makers is who are going to drive this. The vehicle makers, I think, will have to say so for as long as the vehicle is airworthy and worthy of acceptance to those end customers. But ultimately, those end customers are going to want the vehicle. He who supplies the best vehicle is the influencer of the ecosystem. And right now, that's what we're influencing. And that is our goal. So I hope I could influence a lot of people in making their aircraft. I hope I can influence and help people follow along as we build our aircraft. And I'm going to bring you along the whole way. So from now and already talking about how it's going to be certified, and it will, and I will bring you along the trip. How the ecosystem will support, I will bring you along the trip. And if you are looking to be involved in this, definitely come and talk to us. You can always reach out on our website, www.nanco, nanco.aero. Always open on the website. Now, also, side note, on the website, before this time is up, I would like to inform you of our simulator that is on the website. So yes, in terms of ecosystem, the stuff that is needed in order to support an urban air vehicle. For example, wouldn't you like to fly one of these right now? I know you would, because I do. I know I would. If I couldn't have the vehicle today in real life, at minimum, I could have it in the virtual world. And that's what we have. Our simulator is our vehicle, the first and only family air vehicle that can fly over the city. It's a full-on digital twin of Houston in the system, in the box, in the simulator, on your computer. Download it. Is for PC only, Apple to come in the future. But on a PC application, you can fly our vehicle in an urban city right now on the website, FYI. And with that, the simulation, we're building it out further. So look for next week. So in which it'll be in VR, just a heads up on that. So if you're interested in this experience, and it's all about the experience. So I could dive into that a little bit. This experience of flying a flying car, an urban air vehicle, that experience of just getting over traffic and getting exactly where you want to be in a nice, cool, smooth, sleek manner. Man, this is nothing else like that. And that's what we aim to bring. Like that wow. So that's all the time I have today. Just a little short convo to dive into some things. Please ask questions if need be. I am your community expert on all things eVTOL, flying cars, urban air vehicles, that specific niche of aircraft, rotorcraft, multi-rotor aircraft, that, as well as 3D printers and other things that fit within it. So again, Sharm Peters, Nanco Aero, the new age nerd, the urban astronaut, once again on a Fly Friday 15, just to give a little bit of update on the industry. I wish you all well, and peace be upon you all. Fly, people, fly. Mm, 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 mm.